control and evil eye magnetism. Welcome, fine ladies and gentlemen around the world, to another walk and talk. My name is Mo, the Gnostic Warrior, bringing it to you live from Fallbrook, California, located in San Diego County on this beautiful Sunday. And wanted to talk to you how important your attention is and where you put your eyes, right? So again, thank you for tuning in. Say hello, let me know where you're from. And this, again, is an important little episode where I'm going to put my gnosis into the cloud and talk about something that's dear to my heart and to my mind, because probably like you guys out there, I've been a victim of mind control and evil eye magnetism, right? So thank you again. Hey Max, all right. Fairbriz Lee, what's up? Hello. So yeah, this is important. Do you know that our ancestors had thought it was an abomination to stare at someone or to give someone the evil eye? And this, people think is just, someone giving you their eye and like looking at you bad. But in reality, this is where we get the word fascination from. And a lot of us are guilty of giving our evil eye, giving our attention, giving our focus to other people. And this is where I'm going to tie in magnetism and evil eye to kind of connect this to mind control. How even today, a lot of us well-meaning people who are on the path of truth and gnosis, we sometimes give over our power to people like myself, or people you find online who you might hold up as a type of guru or something, right? And a lot of these people, I'm saying the vast majority of them, are using magic to woo you into their secret clubs or their online courses. And if you look at a lot of how our culture is built today on sorcery and magic, it's all based upon our attention, right? Where do we put our eyes? Where do we put our focus? So this is where the evil eye and the magnetism comes in, because where your eyes go, your attention flows, right? So if you're into magic per se, and I would say all of us are magicians in some type of way, whether you're a white magician or you're a black magician. So a lot of people don't understand the differences in the white magic, black magic, left-hand path, right-hand path. And then, of course, the black magicians will blur the lines between the two, because that's what they do. So a black magician would use these teachings, their knowledge, for selfish means, for gain. This could be monetary gain. This could mean sexual, spiritual gain. And where they're prostituting their gnosis, they're prostituting the ancient mysteries for their own good, right? Their selfish gain. So that's black magic, and that could be taken to, of course, different extremes. Hey, Ruben. Yeah, so all modern marketing and advertising, for the most part, is a form of mind control. And that's Ruben from Encinitas, California, near me here, saying that. And that is totally true. And it also could be used in say a white magic phase, meaning if you do have a good product and you're just wanting to get it out to the public and you're not using nefarious means or using, BS tactics, or the product that you have is actually beneficial to humanity, I believe that in a sense that's not really sorcery. But when you're selling products that have, say, poisons in them, or you're convincing people to use things that they don't really need, stuff like that, that's where the sorcery, the black magic comes in, right? So these black magicians are wooing you to give you their attention to buy products that you don't need. Okay? So that would kind of be the definition of marketing under a sorceress or a black magic type of method, right? And it's all about your attention, your focus. Okay? And an example of this is the pharmakia, right? Pharmakia is where we get the pharmacy industry, right? That's where we get the pharmaceuticals. That's where we get all the drugs and the vaccines. So you look at their commercials, right? Here in America, one of the few countries where you're allowed to have sorcerers market to you in America, right? The land of sorcery. Their whole mission is basically, this drug will kill you, take this and that. And the whole time people are like having a good time, at a party, taking this pill or whatever it may be. And the whole time they're talking about how this drug will kill you, and it will do this, and you can get cancer. And so they're not really accurately portraying the drug that they're marketing. So they're giving you an image, a false image of people having a good time. They don't look like they have any disease, or they're getting sick, or they're dying possibly, right? And so they're convincing you via images and sorcery, because you're being hypnotized when you give someone your eyes, right? A man who knew about this, a black magician who I don't care too much for, is named Michael Aquino. So you'll know Michael Aquino. Google him. Google his eyes. You'll see his eyebrows. They're always shaped up in a weird thing. So basically, he knows about magnetism, about evil eye. So that's why he did his eyebrows all weird. So you're constantly gazed into his eyes, into his focus. Our ancestors believed that through the eyes you could infect people, actually. So people like Michael Aquino, the sheriffs just went by really quick. I don't know. Maybe the meth house around the corner is getting busted, because they're always here for those guys, just so you know. And if some of you had seen my walk and talk a while back on that. But in any event, oh, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, so you'll find that, my work and stuff, I've been shadow banned for 10 years, and oh geez, all kinds of things have happened to me over the years. I could do a bunch of podcasts on that, but I made the decision a long time ago. I don't do anything. You'll see that I'm not selling anything here. There's no courses. I don't have a back door. I'm not being a mini Edward Bernays, which I feel everybody is today. Is I knew a long time ago that this wasn't something that, I was going to, vet my life on or make money or be a huge public figure, because I knew that the Gnostics were being persecuted for the last 2,000 years, so as they continue to be today to some extent. But yeah, so I film my videos, my pages and things like that. I have over 55,000 people here on the Facebook community, and then also on YouTube, and I literally just have a couple thousand views or whatever per episode that I do. So it seems like I'm still kind of being shadow banned and the information is being suppressed. If you look at this video, mind control, and evil eye magnetism, that's really our whole world is built upon that. So of course, this information would want to be suppressed. So, hey, you're welcome, Trisha. Lee, so who determines what is light and dark magic? I believe it comes down to personal morality and what you do as an individual. So, Lee, here's my theory in regards to who determines. I go by actually authorities, I believe, in philosophy and magic and masonry, and I don't go by just any old magician or so-called YouTuber or podcaster, which there's a plethora these days, right, Lee? Right, everybody? Everybody has a so-called opinion. I decided after doing this mistake for several years and having these same kind of views based on these same kind of people who aren't authorities, which is the vast majority of the people podcasting, authors, scientists today, you know, the tradition, Lee, in my opinion, when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to Freemasonry, when it comes to magic, when it comes to Gnosticism, is there's authors through time that have been held up in high esteem for their writings, and their writings have tested the test of time, from Pythagoras, who we don't really have many writings, but Plato, Aristotle, and then from all those philosophers, a lot of the teachings got amalgamated into the scripture, into the church. And then of course, through there, and through the other philosophers, you know, down to Francis Bacon, down to Manly P. Hall, you know, so when you say, who says what authority gives whatever, those are the people I look to, Lee. Those are the people that I look up to in regards to my research. I just don't go to Bob or Gordon White on magic, really. Like, to me, a Gordon White is a pathetic magician because he's teaching little kids black magic and sorcery. And he would be amongst many other podcasters and magicians who I believe are pathetic. And they're prostitutes, essentially. So, when you use the knowledge for monetary gain, Lee, when you use it for selfish reasons, it's black magic. So you could paint it whatever way you want, but when it's done for that reason, that's what it's called, sorcery and magic, and you could take that to different extremes. So, many authors, I'll do a separate walk and talk and a series of videos on black magic and white magic, talking about the various quotes from the philosophers. So if you study those philosophers, Manly P. Hall, he's one of my favorite Masonic philosophers that talks about the occult a lot. Paracelsus, Franz Hartmann, Madame Helena Blavatsky, right? So those are the various people that have talked about magic and stuff like that, and then evil eye. Francis Bacon had considered, you know, he was literally the Queen's right-hand man. You know, some people call him 007. He had a lot to do with the founding of the Masonic States of America. He considered evil eye, staring at people, fascination, to be one of the most vilest human traits. Right? So this doesn't mean that you can't watch a video or look at something or admire someone's work, but it doesn't mean you've got to be enthralled and fascinated to where you idolize them. Right? So that's where, you know, you see the people, the fans, oh my God, oh, they literally, some people die from this fascination. They have heart attacks from a person, anxiety attacks. That person, that fan, is given over their power to this rock star, this idol, right? That's why American Idol is so big. Okay, this is all fascination, all evil eye. Hey Max, voice to skull technology. Great question. So Max Payne, hello brother. He's asking, what do you know about voice to skull technology? Well, what I know is that is the magic that has been used for thousands of years by people in the know. So this would be a form of black magic that could be done, from my understanding, can be done through weaponized radio forms, right? So you look at like our cell phones, you look at our radios, our TVs, that information is actually traveling through the air to a receiver, much like what the ancients had believed, that the universe was like a mind, a universal mind. So when you connect Vitruvian Man and you're actually a thinking, operating human, you're connecting voice to skull technology with the world. And so if you're not in charge of this body and the skull here, something else can be. If you're not driving the bus, the vehicle, someone else could be driving the car for you, right? I contend the science has been known for thousands of years, and when I research it, it's exactly what is the case. And I believe that the powers that be in various people have that technology to beam. And I know they have to have a direct, basically, connection with you, either through some type of technology or device, which would be more on the lines of, say, kind of deep state CIA type of stuff that you might be thinking about. And then the other would be through black magic, where someone actually charges the air, right? They do curses. So, you know, when we think cursing, it's like F you or da-da-da-da, but cursing in the old sense was to basically to put a negative parasite or energy or curse upon someone by actually voicing it and wording it to that person. And then of course, if you have a connection via your eyes, you can slowly hypnotize that person without them knowing. So people like Michael Aquino, the Temple of Set, they'll talk about this stuff. They'll talk about vampirism. And that's what they call it, being a vampire, right? So they're vampirizing your energies, which they claim that their goal is to do it only with people that are willing victims, right? They're willing victims for the Dracula. So I believe through your DNA and through various things and items that they can charge the air and curse it, and through black magic rituals, they can bring this energy to you where you actually hear it in your skull. And especially if you're not hip to these things and you start getting these messages and you're maybe somewhat weak and fearful and not at a great place spiritually, maybe you're physically weak as well, you're going to be more apt to be a victim of this voice to skull technology, of this black magic, of this evil eye magnetism, as opposed to someone who is in the know what's going on. They know what's up. Some people are good, some people are bad. Don't stare at people in the eye. You know, that was one of the things. So, you know, when you go to jail or you go to prison, you know one of the number one things you don't do? You don't stare at people in the eye. Interesting, huh? It's interesting that one of the most primitive things, and this is something on the street as well, if any of you guys have lived in a bad area or an area where there's gangs or anything, you don't, you know, if you look at someone, that was a threat, a challenge, right? But today, we do it all the time. We give people our eyes. We give them our attention, our fascination. And that allows them to extract our energy, to magnetize us, to get them into their tribe, to get our money every month, whether it be a product or some BS magic course or podcast course or whatever it might be. So, and that's what I believe a lot of people are guilty of. I'm not sure about the vaccine in regards to it being a black magic ritual or something like that, but there's a lot of people claiming that it has magnetic properties, right? So that's interesting. And then I wrote about mice being controlled by magnets. So everything's energy, right? So this magnetism that I'm talking about right now, I'm actually not getting into the deep science, which I'm going to get in a subsequent walk and talk that talks about how we could be magnetized actually by a magnet, right? They say that most insects and animals, they kind of rule by the magnetism of the earth, the biosphere, right? They say us humans we're attracted to people with like energy. It's like a magnet. We attract to people who I believe are our ideas, where we think, where we're, is it illumination? Is it light? One of the reasons I feel people like my walk and talks is because it's authentic, it's new information. I'm not trying to sell you anything, and it's not scripted. So I feel people enjoy that, and I could give people new information without it being a script, or hook you into a new podcast, listen to the second half, right? And I used to do stuff like that, and I just decided to get a job and work and honor the great work, honor my ancestors, honor the gnosis, without trying to sell it or prostitute it. So that's where I feel a lot of people are getting into the sorcery, acting like they have all the answers, or they're starting some new cult and you pay them $10 or $20 a month or whatever it may be. I just decided about, I think it was like 6 years ago, just to get a job, to work, start my own business, and then help people with knowledge and gnosis, and rather than use it in a way to enrich me or anything like that. So that's where I feel the difference is with people that put out information and knowledge and gnosis, is that, what is their motive? Is it purely to support themselves and their families? Or is it for the sake of light and gnosis and correcting history or getting themselves right, It's interesting, I read a quote by Plato today, that he believed the true mark of a philosopher was someone that arranged their life to study philosophy and promote philosophy. And I was really taken back by that, because that's kind of what I've done and how I operate my life now. When I first got into the business, I tried to blow it up and get big, and then I decided I didn't want to be enslaved by my business and have a bunch of employees and overhead, and that's when I believe business it gets corrupt as well. If any of you have operated a business, it's a fine line between being ethical and moral, and then also the corruption. Because what I've found is that, the more money you go after, the more corrupt that you will get, or the more corrupt you have to be to compete. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some more questions here. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Thank you again for watching this walk and talk. Let me see here. Hey, good evening, Latte. Hey, Carrie. Yeah, so there's also, that's good. I'm glad. Who said that? Kelly, you can also increase your energy and project it on other people. I can read people through their eyes if it shows their emotions. So I agree with that, Kelly, but usually, from my understanding, you have to have, of course, the willingness and also the acceptance of the other person, understanding that you're sending them, love thoughts or whatever it may be. And that's what I feel it is when you're around people that you could think love and think energy, and you could actually send those thoughts to that person and hopefully help them. But I feel the ethical way to do that is that they have to know that they're being involved in that process. Hey, you're welcome, Max. I'm reading your thing right now. Yeah, so you were explaining, Max, that you grew up around witchcraft, and I actually feel, you know, here in America, the United States, that a lot of us are growing up in that culture right now, and it's kind of a dual culture, so you could find this witchcraft anywhere. And, you know, my theory is that there is definitely evil out there. So if magic is done for evil purposes, for completely selfish purposes, there's people out there that actually do it for that, and they operate on ignorance, right? So if you're not a Gnostic and you don't have knowledge, you don't have gnosis of the things that I'm talking about, you're more easily to become a victim. So that's why it's important to gain knowledge, to gain gnosis, to understand these things, and to become connected with hopefully a higher power if you believe in God and the light and other things, and wisdom and philosophy, and you start studying that, and then you also understand that lies and obfuscation is the tricks of the magician, right? So fear, right? Flattery, right? Flattery is one of the things they do. So you'll see, you know, magicians do that. Black magicians, child rapists will do that. They will flatter their victim. They will groom them. They usually take someone that is weak, that has problems at home, and then they are the person that seeks to control them by giving them flattering remarks and telling them what they want to hear, right? So they could get them through the back door and insert their semen into their anus, which of course they will have a connection for the rest of their lives. And unfortunately, that person who has that DNA of that black magician will now have to battle that, cleanse, and really have a spiritual battle, maybe some other things too, to get it out of them. You're welcome, Carrie. Manipulation is magic. Exactly, Ruben. So any forms of manipulation, you know, that could be, Lee, if you're doing anything with the magic or the knowledge you do to manipulate other people to do what you want, sorcery, right? And that's kind of marketing how everybody does it these days, you'll see. And again, it could be done for nefarious purposes, or it could be done in a way to, like, hey, you know, Ruben, I'm going to manipulate you by telling you this new information, but I'm not going to do it in a way that is in a black magic sorcerist way. I'm going to do it in a way to wake you up to something new. And maybe by doing this, you will be manipulated more towards my thinking or something. So I would say if I had any ulterior motives, it's to give people light and to understand kind of what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. And it's not really manipulation, but it's, hey, Graf, dear brother, you're welcome. Yeah, I always have problems with my walk and talks, brother. I think the reason is because I'm going just purely through cell data. I don't know if it's because I'm not at home. You know, everybody always enjoys when I do the walk and talks. I've thought about, you know, doing them at home on my Wi-Fi where I'm at right now, and I could do it from my computer. So I'm thinking about maybe twice a week or something where I could actually go into the more detail on these videos and do a live cast from my computer and show you guys screenshots and maybe research to go along with these. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that and participating in some live discussions where we talk about all this information and then I share actually the research instead of just doing, you know, the walk and talk. So yeah, I apologize for any connection issues or anything I have on these walk and talks. And again, they're just kind of unscripted, not done for a professional reason. So, but try to do them as good as possible. Glad to see you, Scobie. All right, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday, right? Today is Sunday. It's supposed to be the kind of the Sabbath or whatever. I like to do Sundays is hang out with the family and get rest and get ready for my week. It's usually kind of what I like to do. I don't know what you guys like to do, but kind of, I'll study in the morning, do a little philosophy. I just did a walk with you guys, so it's great because I could do kind of like a podcast as I get my exercise and I walk. And then now it's just afternoon and I'm going to spend time the rest of the day with my beautiful family. And then I like to chill like around 4 or 5 and just hang out on the couch and watch a movie and chill and relax. And I usually wake up at 4 a.m. every day, like clockwork, sometimes 5. And that's when I get most of my research done. So that's kind of what I like to do as a routine. So anyways, you guys enjoy your day. Spend time with the family. Watch where you give your eye to, right? Don't be a victim of the evil eye magnetism. People sucking you in, right, to their ideas. Make sure you give yourself the attention that you need. You go within. You look at your children, your wife. I love to look in my wife's eyes. That's one of my most favorite things to do. And all I think about, I don't think about manipulating or vampiring her. I think about how much I love her, and I love this woman, and I look into her eyes, and she loves me, and it's just a great thing. So that's where I believe love and energy is transferred to one another. And I believe you could see this with animals as well, and they know this, right? So anyways, enjoy your day. Take care. Thank you for tuning in. Mo, the Gnostic Warrior. Peace out. Bye.